Where did the Oatman spend the night on the sandbar just before heading to the spot they would be massacred? Okay, you see this green route? There was a trail there. It hugs this mesa and goes along the edge of the Gila River there and then up and over to where they were killed. Okay, however, different trails are used at different times of the year. It had just rained and the river would have been in full flow, and so they would have been rolling the wagons and walking in water and mud all along this distance of, a mile or two. Okay, they wouldn't have done that. Okay, now it's possible, okay, what if they didn't know of this correct route? Maybe they could have done this. However, what defines it is that Olive said, we descended a bluff down to the river. Okay, that rules out this green that hugs the mesa. That absolutely rules it out. You have to go by key words that they said. She said, we descended a bluff down to the river. Okay, but this is fields. That doesn't look like no river. Keep it in mind, we descended the bluff. That forces the location they came down is here. Therefore, we have to figure out, why is this not a river then? Because they came over here. Well, the Gila River has been dried up the past 50 years or so, with only occasional floods that come down through there, little floods that come down through there, not like it used to be. And so what occurs is, this smaller wash that doesn't have a name does feed down silt, and it starts filling. Where this would have been previously part of the river and washed away, progressively it's filling. It's filling with silt. And see this choke point here? Okay, so that choke point almost certainly means that this river material that you see in here, this landscape actually would have been down to here like this, which is entirely reasonable. And so that matches what she said. We came down the bluff to the river. That puts them here at the river in this zone here, and so this would be where they were on the sandbar. It would have been along the edge of the river, yes, but that puts them in this location. Okay, the next words, she said, about noon the next day. Okay, we had a fitful night, worried about the Indians. Okay, they would have been in this zone here. And then she said, about noon the next morning, we reached the bottom of the tablelands and encountered a steep hill. Okay, that's their hill that they didn't know that bore their name. Okay, so those two things define what the route was. It was this blue route from Painted Rocks. Painted Rocks is right here, and so this was an established route. This was an established route. Therefore, on the one video, as I hiked in when I was in the middle of the fields, filming along the road, right here is actually the road that you walk into the massacre site, right there. That when I was filming that, I was in the area where they were forced to cross the sandbar. For instance, you see these fields and you see this river terrain, but look here, see what you've got there? It's not affected by the river. It's not affected by the farming, and so you're actually seeing that this river material that you see, where the river comes through, actually extended to here. See there? So therefore, the sandbar they were stranded on was right in here. Now, could it have been there? No, because she said noon the next day. Could it have been here, right at the bottom when they came down this bluff? Likely not, or she would have said so. As soon as we came down the bluff, we got stuck. So they worked their way along the shallow river and sandbars and got mired here. And so that matches perfectly. So it rules out this route here. It was used off and on. But even then, they were right up along a rock because they were trying to avoid the river. So this is ruled out. They did come down that bluff, and there was the sandbar. Now in the video, I looked over, and I was looking over in this direction. Actually, I should have said right where I am would have been river, and that was the sandbar. So sometimes I do supplemental videos to tweak fine information.